Algebra 1, Day 76. So today we're going to be talking about generating exponential functions or their equations utilizing regression. So today's kind of sort of a review. You should already know how to run a regression. The only thing that's going to be different about this is that we are utilizing a different option. Everything else is exactly the same as running a linear regression. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So, just like a linear regression, a line of best fit for an exponential function can give us a look at the relationship. We can use our calculators to generate lines of best fit so we can make predictions. All right. So, first thing I want to do is I want to go through and I want to identify what each of these points is. Down here, excuse me, down here on my x-axis, I have number of days, and over here on my y-axis, I have number of cases, okay? So at 0, I had approximately 87.5. Over here on day number 7, I had approximately 112.5. Over here on day 17, I had approximately 157.5. Over here on day 27, I had approximately 207.5. Now notice I usually try and do, depending on what my scale looks like, 5s, 10s, 2.5, very simple numbers, okay? It doesn't have to be exact because we cannot identify exact numbers on here. 40 and 230. Over here, 58 and 257.5. And then finally, 67.5 and about 292.5. Now, of course, I could go ahead and drop all of these into my chart to get them nice and organized. However, we're super smart. We already know that all of my values out here are going to be my x's, and all of my values over here are going to be my y's. So let's go ahead and drop these into my calculator. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up a new spreadsheet. I'm going to go ahead and call this over here my days, also known as my x's, and my cases, also known as my y's. So I'm going to go ahead and type them in. All right, so I got my x values in. And I have my y values in. Now I'm going to go ahead and run a regression. Menu, statistics, stat calculations, and instead of that linear regression, we're going to go ahead and run an exponential regression. I'm going to go ahead and select my x values, my y values, and I'll save my equation as well. I might need this later on. This is finally a case where we'll get to use this. All right. So here they gave me an equation of y equals 106.34 times 1.02 to the power of x, We have approximately a 94% correlation, so that means that this is really close, really good, strong correlation. Okay? So, first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and write down this equation. So let me write that in over here. All right, so I wrote down my equation. How many flu cases would you expect after 75 days? They want to know when x is equal to 75. Okay, so back over here in my calculator, we stored this as FEX1. So let's head over to my calculator screen. I'm going to go ahead and plug that in, FEX1 of 75. I would expect approximately 368.849 cases. 368.849. However, I want to verify that by doing it by hand. I would just go ahead and plug in my 75 up here. So I would say 106.34 multiplied by 1.02 to the power of 75. So, here I'm taking a brief pause because I wanted you guys to notice something. These numbers are totally different, right? So, why is that? Well, let's go back and let's look at this. First of all, I rounded these numbers. Rounding this number to a 2 increases the amount of change in between each one. Rounding this one up also starts it at a higher level. So of course this number is going to be bigger. So depending on your situation, you should choose one of these. However, I prefer to go this route because this is going to be the most exact answer by doing this. It is going to plug in the very closest exact value to get you the absolute closest. Doing it this way and rounding will take you off up to several hundred value points, okay? So it really depends on the problem, but for the purposes of our class, we will be doing it this way, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next question. How many flu cases would you expect after 115 days? Okay, so I'm going to say FEX1 of 115. I'd expect approximately 716 cases, but let's say I was to go ahead and utilize my rounding. It says about 1,000, so that throws me off a lot. It really depends. But again, we're going to be utilizing this formulation up here. All right? Okay, next one. Approximately how many days would it take for there to be 2,000 cases of the flu? So this question is going to be a little bit different. Instead, they're asking me when exactly is this graph going to hit 2,000? Now, this is not something that we can solve for at this point because we don't know how to solve for this. But what we can do instead is look at the table of values. So let's go ahead and take a look at this graph. I'll call it FEX1. And I'll look at my table. Whoops. Hold on, let me try that again. There we go. And I'm looking to see when I would have approximately 2,000 cases. So I'm looking. All right. So approximately at 177 days. All right. So I want you guys to go ahead and take a look at these, noticing that for this one, they did round. So you will have to round. Okay? All right. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good rest of your day.